So if you've ever had this question, I'm going to try to answer it today. How did Qui Gon Jinn actually lose to Darth Maul? Qui Gon was the more experienced fighter, Qui Gon was the older fighter, Qui Gon had the more perfected Form 4, and was actually the first time that a Sith had actually dueled the Jedi in over 1,000 years. Well, unless you guys count what happened with Acolyte. But besides all that, you would think that Qui Gon Jinn's experience would carry him through this entire fight, and it actually was for quite some time. But you would also think, since Qui Gon Jinn is also the apprentice of the greatest duelist in the entire galaxy at the time, Count Dooku, you would actually think that this was complete child's play for Qui Gon, but unfortunately, it really wasn't. You see, Maul was actually a very efficient fighter for his age. You guys have to remember that Maul was only 22 years old at this point of his life. But Maul was also trained heavily to hate the Jedi. He hated every single last aspect of the Jedi. He hadn't even met a single Jedi before in his life. In fact, cities would take him to Coruscant constantly and frequently just so he can train and learn to hate the Jedi even more. This way, Maul was able to feel the Jedi himself. He would be able to feel their power, feel their energy, and be able to just hate on it. Maul was also trained in Juyo and Ataru. Ataru was perfect for his double-bladed lightsaber. It focuses on a very aggressive, fast-paced combat with a lot of movement. But when it came to Qui-Gon and this fight, as it prolonged and kept going on and on, Qui-Gon in his advanced age just seemingly saw himself not being able to keep up. That's all it really was at the end of the day, to be honest. It's not the fact that Qui-Gon was a worse fighter. It's not the fact that Qui-Gon just couldn't do it. He wasn't powerful enough. It's the fact that Qui-Gon simply ran out of stamina. Because prior to this, if you notice through the entire fight, Qui-Gon was doing perfect. Qui-Gon was actually parrying and blocking everything that Maul threw at him. Just as much as we saw Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi struggle, Maul was struggling as well. Maul really had to focus and call upon the dark side even further than he's ever had before in order to best Qui-Gon Jinn in his battle. And that's not to take anything from Maul. As we all know, Maul is a very powerful fighter, and he was pretty much almost built for this. He was powerful on the dark side of the Force, and he was extremely brash at this time. He wasn't necessarily focused until he got later on in his life. Honestly, Maul at this point is very comparable to what Anakin Skywalker was during Revenge of the Sith. Both Maul and Anakin Skywalker were very powerful fighters. They're both very talented at this. It almost came natural to them. Another factor that played into why Maul actually won this fight was due to the fact that this fight was forced into a small, tight corridor. This small, tight corridor actually limited what Qui-Gon Jinn could do. And this fight had already drug out for a very long time. As I stated earlier, Qui-Gon Jinn ran out of stamina. His exhaustion was starting to kick in. And then on top of that, with this small, tight corridor, it all started to play a big factor to why he lost. Another factor that I think a lot of people actually don't bring up when they talk about this fight is the pure fact that their first fight on Tatooine, if you notice that Maul, when he was fighting Qui-Gon, was more so trying to feel him out. He downloaded his tactics. He figured out exactly what Qui-Gon Jinn was going to do next, so when he fought him later on Naboo, it became easy to him. And that's why on the fight in Tatooine as well, Maul also used a single blade. He didn't pull out the second blade on his double-bladed lightsaber till later on Naboo. But anyway, that's all we have for this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. We will have more videos this week, I promise. I know I said that I'll upload more in 2025, which I have been, but last week, life kind of got in the way again. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a lot of good things going on. And basically, I just have a lot of responsibility on my hands, and it's good responsibility. I personally like it. But anyway, may the Force be with you guys. I appreciate every single last one of you guys who are subscribed and still watching. May the Force be with you, and have a great rest of your day.